and a warm welcome from the Military Stadium in Aldershot for the second fixture in this year's Inter-Services Under-23 Football Championship, where the Army Young Guns are going to lock horns with defending champions, the Royal Navy. Now let's cast our minds back a week to the opening game in this year's competition, when the Royal Air Force downed the Army 2-0 at Rayners Lane.
Here's a good one. Oh, goes down. And the referee has said that is a penalty. And sends the keeper the wrong way, right down the middle. Well, Dean Hyam scores. Oh, and a real opportunity then, if he can get there first, and he certainly can. And it's a 2-0 lead then. Logan Buick then. And that is the last action of this second half. And it's a victory then for the team in light blue. Well, it's their first win for more than 3 years.
So those goals then by Dean Hyam and Logan Buick, the undoing of the Army last week at Rayners Lane. Can they get their season back on track with victory today? Well, I've been talking to their head coach, Gowan Griffiths. But before that, Craig Tilley has been chatting to the Royal Navy's head man, and that's Stu Morgan.
It's a 3-year process for us, so we got the job in the summer of last year. Gav, myself and the team have a project, and that's to win it by the 3rd year. So expectations are to hopefully the lads understand our principles of the way we want to play football, and put that into the game day on Wednesday, and play the way that we know that we can play. We're a good outfit. What's happened before is kind of out of our control now, so it's a fresh line under the sand. It's not the three-peat for us, it's our first year. Effectively, we've only got 4 or 5 faces in a 20-man squad that have been in those successful years, so it's really, really brand new for us, like the other services may have been in the last couple of years. We watched the game together last week, very impressed by both sides. They're both physical, energetic and good football players, so if we maintain and match their physicality, I think our quality will shine through in the end. The Army are always tough opposition. Every time I've played them through under-18s through to the senior level, no matter what standard or if they've been beat the game before, they always come back hard and harder and better. So we know it's going to be tough, but at the end of the day, kind of the players have to understand how to be calm in that moment and win a football game.
You've had a few days to digest, last week's disappointment. So what have you taken from last week, and what are you going to put into practice this week? All-out attack?
So we've had some honest reflections and review of the performance, and we all understand that we underperformed, and then we've just focused now on the game against the Navy and how we're going to put that right.
You prepared really well last week. So as a coach, how frustrating is it that as soon as those boys cross the white line, they don't quite put into practice what you had asked of them?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I think the occasion's big for these young players, and maybe that got the better of some of them, but collectively, staff and players, we do understand that we need to put a lot right this game this week.
Of course, the Royal Air Force took their chances and took them well, and you were undone a couple of times by some sort of almost speculative long balls and then a decent pass as well.
Yeah, we give credit to the RAF. They were better against us this year, and they performed really well against us, and they give us a lot of problems, and that's something we've addressed this week, and hopefully we can give a great account of ourselves on Wednesday.
So you take the hurt from the Royal Air Force fixture, and then you face your old foes, the Royal Navy, here at the home of Army Sport. You spoke about pressure last week, the occasion getting to them. Why will it be different this time around?
They've just got that experience now. They've they've crossed that white line. They've had 90 minutes of this fixture, and now we're going to go to the Navy, and we're going to really put it right this week.
Up against the defending champions, you know you have to score goals, so potentially it could be a really exciting fixture.
It could be. We won't estimate them either. We know that we have to win the game first and foremost, and that's the ultimate aim, but some extra goals would be nice, obviously, to take it into the last week and see what happens in this tournament.
Yeah, it's a shame it's just a 3-fixture tournament, because once you get going, the tournament's over for you.
Yeah, it's a 2-game format is tough, as we know every year, and if you lose your first game, you find yourselves in a really difficult position. All we can do now is win this game, win that Joey Collins Cup against the Navy, and then see what happens on the last week that's out of our control.
Joey Collins, a fantastic stalwart for Army football, especially, not just Army sport. So what do you think it would mean for the Army to come away with that trophy, even if they don't win the overall tournament?
Yeah, I think it's firstly a great name to have on the trophy. Absolutely fitting for Joey to come and present that tomorrow as well. We just hope that we can be the first name on that trophy. What's
it like facing the Royal Navy, your old nemesis?
We know they're going to be tough. They'll be hard to beat. We've had 2 good performances in the last two years, edged slightly differently each way, and we know that it's going to be the same again, and hopefully we'll come out on top this time.
Excited? The boys excited?
Yeah, they are. Since we've had that honest reflection, it's all been positive now. We just move forward. We don't focus anymore on the fixture that's gone, and we're just going to go out there now and give it everything.
Well, the players will be coming out onto the pitch, then it will be the national anthems, and to talk us through all of that, it's our very own John Knighton.
Well, thanks very much indeed, and a very happy St Valentine's Day to you, though there's never that much love lost when the Army and Navy meet, of course, on a sports pitch, and I suspect today's clash here at the Military Stadium in Aldershot for the second of this season's inter-services matches at the under-23 level will be no different. Well, you heard there from the team manager, Stu Morgan, about the determination of his players to keep the run going, but equally determined will be the Army. His opposite number, of course, is Griff Griffiths, hoping that today the Army can claim back something after last week's defeat. Time, though, for the national anthem. So the national anthem then performed here, and it's a great pleasure to welcome today the RAS Phil Bright, who's joining me for commentary today. Brighty, a game I'm sure you're looking forward to today, because obviously I guess that the under-23 RAF lads aren't going to be too bothered who wins today after that victory last week, the 2-0 win down there at Rayners Lane. But nevertheless, both of these teams plenty of incentive to do well today.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, John. You're really looking forward to seeing how the Army bounced back from last week, as you say, in defeat to the Air Force. And also it's the first time we get to see the Navy this year after winning the last 2.
Indeed.
So looking forward to seeing them.
Well, let's take a look at the 2 teams, shall we? The Navy, first of all, led by their captain, Callum O'Leary. Bags of experience at this level since the age of 17. He's very much used to winning. The team will need his experience, as there are many first-timers coming into the lineup today. Players, of course, like Jack Wright and Kieran Feeney, who you know well, are missing now because they're past the age criteria. And between the sticks, Matt Tomlinson, his first full season in the squad, but he comes with a great pedigree, a former youth graduate with Nottingham Forest. As far as the Army are concerned, well, Griff has told his players to go out and learn from the mistakes of last week. No changes from the starting lineup against the RAF. They'll need to be pretty tight at the back, won't they, today, Phil? Captain Alfie Moulding, a huge part to play there, and obviously with Owen James up front, someone that you know very well from UCAF, from the Kentish Cup. Alfie Watts certainly impressed me during the RAF game, and also Danny Constable. We know what sort of a player he is because he's been around for some time. So you can see from the two teams, there's experience and there's newcomers as well, which makes it all the more exciting. Our officials today, by the way, all come from the Royal Air Force. George Salloway is the man in the middle today. His assistants are Steve Kirkpatrick and Darren Poole. And the fourth official today is Rob Rogers. So the toss-up just happening now to see who's going to get us underway. To start with, the customary team huddle, of course. So important now at the start of these games. The time for the coaches is well and truly over. It's time to see what the guys on the pitch are going to achieve. And in fact, as you can see, they're going to be changing ends for the start of this game. And it's going to be the Army all in their red, kicking from right to left as we look here in the main stand at the old military stadium here in Aldershot. The Royal Navy all in dark blue, of course. And I'm looking forward to this one. Just checking, there's 3 brand new starters in the Navy side. Matt Tomlinson, who we mentioned from RNAS Yeovilton, and Jensen Bryan and Louis Smith as well. They're the starters. There's a couple of other new starters as well on the bench for the Navy today. For the Army, well, Don Wormsley is getting ready to kick the game off for the Army here. All in their red strip. And I must say, Phil, I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a really tight battle between these two teams, but I think there's goals in both of them.
Hopefully just a typical inter-service fixture where they get amongst it. A lot of the times all they've worked on throughout the season goes out the window, and it's just all about getting a result.
I say, wherever you're watching today, you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you with us, and maybe let us know where you are watching this game today. And being St Valentine's Day, well, we might pass a few St Valentine's Day messages on. I know Phil's had a load of cards being sent to him, so we're from a variety of different people. Yeah, we'll try and get through as many messages as we can today from certainly on the football side of things. Anyway,
there we go. First big tackle.
Yeah, made by the Navy, of course, as well, and really important for early doors to get these tackles in. But it's the Army just pushing forward, and the ball cleared out of play there by Cal Monaghan from HMS Naval Base Devonport, wearing number 3 for them today. Live here on Forces News, YouTube and Facebook. So wherever you are, it's great to have you alongside with us today. Ball goes in. Army getting themselves into a decent position there, but it was a good clearance from Sam Leavesley there for the Navy. Our position some way away from the action, so need a pair of binoculars, I think, to see what's going on here today, Phil.
These football pitches with running tracks around them.
They are indeed, but it's a lovely grass surface here. It's always been a really good surface here at the military stadium, and I know the players really love playing on here. So a free kick then to the Army early doors. This will be taken by Danny Constable. Floated in. No one on the end of it. Ball goes out wide again onto that right-hand side. It's actually Lewis Simmons who has done well there with the cross. Navy, though, will pick it up. Here's Sol Roche, who we know all about from the senior team. He was certainly involved in the senior Navy team last year. Considers himself to be the best looking of the two Roche brothers, apparently. But that's his comments, no one else's. Early touch of the ball then for the Navy keeper, for Matt Tomlinson. Brian lays it off nicely. Opportunity then for the Navy. Just a little bit too far for Sol Roche to chase after, and Harry Birchnall gets his first touch of the ball in this match. Just 2 or 3 minutes played so far in this inter-services under-23 fixture. Second one of the season last week, if you were with us. The RAF, a 2-0 win against the Army. Paul Marsh says, yeah, let's come on the Army. Rob Selvey says, George Soloway, the ref, is a Derby lad. Yes, I know, he's a Derby County supporter. He was telling me before kick-off. Good win for the Rams last night, wasn't it? So an early throw then on this right-hand side. Hooked up into the air by Reynolds. Collected though by Walmsley. It's a good start for the Army here. They've shown some good early intentions in this game. Spreading the ball wide is Danny Constable. Simmons, ball comes into the middle, but it's well collected by Tomlinson. Bowls the ball out quickly to Sol Roche, but a good tackle to deny him the opportunity. Alfie Watts there getting in well.
You're right, John, the Army have started well. They've had a few set pieces on the far side, and obviously they need to start well because anything but a win won't do for them, of course.
Nice work again by Leafsey there, one of the more experienced players in the Navy team. Tackle coming in from Jake Walker. Competitive stuff so far.
We've got a ripped shirt already.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's actually, he's going to have a change, I think, early doors. So, Sam Leafsley, no number on his back now, so we'll just have to remember that he's numberless. Constable just looking to free his man there on the right hand side, but it was cut out well by the Navy defence. And this time though, Leighton does break clear, but cleared up nicely by Rob Tucker there for the Navy. Frantic opening to this game so far. Both teams clearly anxious to impose themselves on the match. Just need to, maybe both need to calm down a little bit, don't they, I think, Phil?
The first 15-20 are always carnage in an inter-service game.
Afternoon to Andy Kutcher, RAF senior team manager, who no doubt is keeping a close watch on some of these potential opponents as we head towards the start of the senior season, which follows hard on, of course, the heels of the development competition and the women's as well. To say congratulations to the Army women's team, a great victory for them in Jersey last night in the County Cup. 1-0 win for them. First corner of the game though. And it goes to the Army. So Leighton then to take it. Jack Leighton. Doesn't really achieve what he was hoping to achieve there, I think, and the Navy can bring it clear, but only as far as Ethan Reynolds. Here's Simmons on the edge of the box. Fair tackle, says the referee. But the Army certainly on top at the moment. They're just looking that much more committed going forward. And they'll have an opportunity here. Straight into the hands of the goalkeeper, though.
They've had a few set pieces already, though. I mean, not really made use of the extra height they've got.
Yeah. So here's Livesey. Maybe they bring it forward now. Here's Walker. Offside against Jensen Bryan there. I've just noticed that either Matt Tomlinson is not the Royal Navy goalkeeper this afternoon, wearing number 13, and on my team sheet it has Harry Heaven wearing number 13, but I know that the Navy don't have a reserve goalkeeper in play today, so we're assuming that's who it is, but we'll have to just get a confirmation on that for you. It would have been a very late change if that's the case. Army, they're bringing it forward. Walmsley, well tackled. It's a good ball onto that right-hand side, left-hand side for Jensen Bryan. Ball goes in. And it's out of play, and the Navy will have their first corner of the match. So the Navy showing their first attacking intentions, really, Phil, so far. And around 10 minutes played. They'll be glad to be getting the ball out of their own half.
Yeah, first time they've got it down and played it around a little bit and then exploited a spare channel.
0-0 the score here in the Military Stadium. This second match of the Inter-Services Development Championship. Corner comes in. Cleared, though, by Simmons, Lewis Simmons.
It's another wasteful set piece.
Yeah. Bit of a symbol of last week's games, actually. So many set pieces wasted by both teams. Apart from, of course, the RAF scoring a penalty, which was clearly not wasted. But, yeah, a lot of free kicks and corner kicks just achieved nothing, really.
They were all over hit last week, weren't they?
They were. Here's Livesey. No number on his back, having to change his shirt early on. That's a lovely through ball. Opportunity then for the Navy on this right-hand side. Sol Roche gets the cross in. And on the end of it, oh, and so close was Matt Eyston there. And he's got his head in his hands because he maybe feels he could have done better, but it was such a tight angle, wasn't it? Such a tight angle from the cross from Roche. Would have been very difficult for him to get that ball into the net.
More good football from the Navy, though. Nice little interchange on the edge of the area.
Yeah, they're working their way into this match pretty well as the Army spray it wide with Simmons. Well, there's no fooling Rob Tucker there. And the ball goes into the box. Goalkeeper having to come off his line. Harry Birchnell to make sure that Mr. Roche didn't get there, but he has the ball now on the edge of the penalty area. He gets the cross in. And it's well cleared by the Army, but Navy really getting themselves into this game at the moment. And you could say they've had the best chance of the match so far. But it remains 0-0. Here's Lewis Simmons. Loses out, though. Nice work again from Tucker.
You'll do well to win a header against Owen James, I say.
That's nice work from Owen James. I say someone you know pretty well from UCAF. He goes down, no free kick though. I don't think, Phil, that was a fair tackle. And Louis Smith can't keep the ball in play. But that was a nice bit of work then from Owen James. He's a slippery customer despite his size, isn't he?
Yeah, first time he's got on the ball really, and he's got great feet.
Midfield scramble going on at the moment. Here's Constable. Navy, though, do win it back, and referee says that was unfairly won, so it'll be a free kick then to the Army. Here's Reynolds. And Alfie Watts back to Reynolds again. Nice interplay then from the Army players there. And it's collected by Walmsley, Don Walmsley. Out to Davy Watts. Don't think they're related, the two Watts players, but one's wearing 3, one's wearing 4. Both from different units. So both representing the Army's development team here this afternoon. Really good play, good challenge from Jensen Bryan then. He's brought the ball forward, he's shaken off a couple of challenges and he wins the free kick.
He's done really well there.
Yeah, it was, you know, held at play really well, didn't he? He receives the congratulations from Matt Eyston there. Eyston, who is based at HMS Sultan. Former Middlesbrough Academy player. There's some quality in this Navy team, Phil.
Yeah, chance for them to impress.
So the skipper then, the captain, Callum O'Leary with the free kick. Again, disappointing, again, use of that set piece there. But they'll try and build again. The Army then with an opportunity, if they can get the ball out on the break. And the ball does go wide onto that right-hand side as they drift forward then with Simmons into the box. Oh. No one there. It's cleared by the Navy in the end. But the Army, again, showing that they have that ability to break quickly if they want to.
He just tried to set it, and I don't know if he could have taken a touch and got a shot off.
Nice work again from Louis Simmons. But ball goes out for a goal kick. So we've seen some good bits of movement from both teams so far, Phil, but so far no one has made that crucial early break in the match.
No, some nice interchange, and finally both teams are starting to get the ball down on the floor, and the closest we've come is when the Navy hit the side netting.
Yeah, your first fan bit of mail has come from Andy Kuchar, saying, nice comms, Brighty. So there you go. We expect more. We expect loads more this afternoon.
Gaffer never has a day off.
Yeah. Yeah, as we were saying, there's a lot of football to be had in the next few months here. A lot of Forces football, which we hope to be bringing you here on Forces News, with the Inter-Services Championship for the men and the women. Looking at a particularly busy day on the 20th of March, Phil, when we've got the RAF against the Royal Navy, 2 matches, different venues, and we've got Inter-Services boxing all on the same day.
You've got your work cut out.
But somehow we'll get these to you. As the Navy then have the goal kick. It's a bit scrappy at the moment, neither team able to get the ball down. And I'm sure that Danny, who's watching today, the RAF coach, will be making copious notes about this. Because the one thing that the RAF certainly had in last week's game, Phil, was composure on the ball. They looked really good on the ball, didn't they, last week?
Yeah, they did, and I thought they were worth their victory last week. Aside from the penalty, I thought they created plenty of chances, and they were a handful, especially up front.
Mind you, you would say that, of course, because you are an airman after all. But no, I agree with you. I think the Air Force deserved the win, and I think Gowan Griffiths, Griff agreed. Actually, it's the better team won. But you can see they've tightened things up. They've tightened a lot up already, have the Army, giving much less away than they did last week. But The Navy, a bit of an unknown quantity. I say they've lost quite a few of their stars from the last few years, and it's the Army now pushing forward into the box. Really great work, and another fantastic tackle to deny Lewis Simmons there. Really excellent work from Don Berger, I think it was, who made the tackle there. It was an excellent challenge.
It's a really good tackle. Stop something from developing there.
Potential goal-saving tackle.
Yeah.
And here he is on the ball again, is Don Berger. 0-0 here. We played 18 minutes of this match. Inter-services under-23 football in the military stadium in Aldershot. Such a famous old venue that's seen so many games over the years. I'm sure, Phil, if you put on your pop on your phone the feed on Facebook, you'll see all the messages that are now coming through for you from all over the place, which is great. Okay, here come the Navy then. Here's Jensen Bryan on the edge of the box then with Iserton, but where did that go to? Straight back to an Army player. Bit of confusion there, which was probably just as well for the Army, because Iserton had made himself.
It was a little 3-on-2 there.
Yep.
He found the right pass, and then the final pass was just the wrong one.
Again, great work from Berger there. Really impressive so far. Tenacious tackling from him. Carl Monaghan hoofs the ball into the sky. Army keep it in play though, with Jack Layton beating off a few challenges, but that's no danger at all to the Navy goal. Remains 0-0. Jack Leggett says, "Will you be my Valentine, Yidsey?" See, we're getting the Valentine's messages already.
Not the first one of the day.
I don't think so. But we are here to focus on football, not to do matchmaking. Or wind-up matchmaking either. And Jack Leggett says, "You're beautiful," by the way. Here we go then with the Navy, right on the halfway line. Bit scrappy at the moment, neither team really able to forge any sort of possession. Rather locking horns with each other as we expected, but it's fair stuff so far.
It's just gone back a little bit to the way the game started.
It has.
A little bit chaotic. Both teams started to get the ball down, and now we've gone back to a little midfield battle.
In a nutshell, we need a goal, I think, to settle this down. And there's an opportunity here. Well, it took a deflection, and in the end, Harry Birchnell, I think, quite relieved, really, that the ball wasn't travelling at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Otherwise, that might have ended up in the back of the net.
I think in the end he had it under control. The defender left it for him, but it was hairy for a second there.
Let's say a very good afternoon to Hales Bells Richardson as well, who I know is looking after a lot of Navy senior stuff this year, as well as UCAF. Your team manager, Phil, with UCAF.
Afternoon Hills, another one that doesn't have a day off.
That's right. Yeah, you all work so hard to keep military football going, as do so many people behind the scenes. Great control then from Owen James. But it's the Navy who bring it clear. Opportunity then for Eyston on the edge of the box. Shoots the ball, and it took a deflection, and it's gone for a corner. He might feel he could have done better than that.
It's a good bit of defending, but I do think he could have taken the shot on earlier.
Well, the two best chances of this game so far have both come to the Royal Navy. It's Matt Eyston who actually has probably had the best of them. That first one with the hook shot, which hit the side netting, and then the second one there when he was clean through. I think he had maybe more time than he thought he might. The Navy then have their second corner of this game. Goes in low. Cleared for the moment by the Army. Hooked in again. Goalkeeper has to come. Punches it. Roche going in with the shot, and that will go out for another corner to the Navy.
Great feet in a tight area there. I thought the chance had gone.
Yeah, Sol Roche, of course, who based at HMS Nelson, his second season here with the under-23 team, and he made it through to the seniors last season with his brother. Corner comes in.
First dangerous set piece, that.
It is. It's the first time really it's caused any sort of issue for the Army defence. Roche again, but this time the Army can't make anything of the opportunity they had there in the middle of the field. But here come the Army once more, and Walmsley takes a deflection, goes out for a throw then to the team in red. Army 0, Royal Navy 0. Halfway through this first half. That's great work again from Owen James. Gets the ball wide. Cleared by the Navy temporarily, but the pressure not relieved yet on that Navy goal. That's a lovely turn from Leighton. Gets a low cross in. Overhead attempted kick is temporarily again cleared away. Good period of pressure then for the Army here. And that ball eventually is going to go out of play, but some good work then from the Army.
Yeah, 3 crosses coming in. Owen James putting one of them in. You'd rather he was on the end of it.
Well, I had confirmation actually from a person who should know that it is definitely Matthew Tomlinson in goal for the Royal Navy today. It's his mum who's got in touch. Thanks ever so much for letting us know. We were just a bit confused by the numbers on the shirts, so we always go by those. He's wearing number 13. Unlucky for some, clearly not for Matt today, but he is definitely the goalkeeper for the Royal Navy. So that's cleared that little issue up as well. So I'm always grateful to our viewers who can clear up any sort of anomalies that we might have. And here is Matt Tomlinson, a former youth graduate, as I say, at Nottingham Forest, and making his first appearance for the Navy under-23s here today. That's a lovely 1-2 there for the Navy, and still chasing it is Jensen Bryan. It goes out for a throw, which the Navy will have. Another opportunity for them. Quick break in play for the lacing up of some boots. Sam Leversley will take the throw. Is he going to go long with this? Into the box. Gets it back. But again, didn't get the height on the cross. The danger is cleared. This time it's the Army who have an opportunity. Goalkeeper Tomlinson having to come out of his 18-yard box to clear up the danger there. Good to see some cadets here today. I believe they've come all the way down from the West Midlands to be here today, and they're part of a sort of training thing they're doing at the moment during half-term, no doubt, here in Aldershot. And they're looking after the ball today, making sure that we keep some continuity of action, because if the ball does go out of play here, it tends to travel about half a mile. That's really lovely control there from Louis Smith, who switched over onto this right-hand side. Oh, Carol O'Leary then, his header goes to an Army player. And that will be cleared by the Army. Intelligent play from them. Opportunity then. Ball in the middle of the field. It's A chance for the Navy to push themselves forward. That was Jake Walker there on the ball. Maybe held on to it for slightly longer than he wanted. Goes down, the referee says play on. Nice switch onto the left-hand side into the box. Lisa goes in, and we have our first goal.
Flags
but offside. Well, it was nicely worked by the Navy. And I think that the Navy thought they had the ball in the net. It was really nicely worked for them. And on the end of it, for them was, and then I've just been talking about Louis Smith. But
yeah, it looks like it could have been tight. It's the first time either side's really got into a good area and finally produced a good final ball.
And it did take a deflection, but I think it was there. It was there, just inside the 6-yard box, that Louis Smith was flagged offside. By Steve Kirkpatrick, the linesman here. Jack Layton's mum's been in touch saying, come on the Army, in block capital letters. And that's brilliant work again from Owen James. He's doing what he does so well and did so well for UCAP in the Kentish Cup, holding the ball on the edge of the box and creating that space. And of course, he's now won a free kick in a very dangerous situation here for the Navy defence. What can the Army do with this? It's Lewis Simmons.
He's done really well there with his back to goal. He's horrible to get the ball off when he's got his back to goal.
Yeah, Private Owen James doing well. He's a big tall lad. He's about 6'4", something like that. And the rest, probably. So, 4-man wall here. And I think Lewis Simmons thinks that he's got a way through here. He goes for goal, and it's a great save from the goalkeeper in the end. Matt Tomlinson had to be right at his best there to tip that over the bar, but that was flying into the net.
Looked like he saw it late, but yeah, first time the Army have tested the keeper.
And they get the corner. It could have been so much more for them. Really well taken free kick from Lewis Simmons. But Matt Tomlinson equal to it. So the corner then comes in. Navy get it clear.
That's a better delivery though, just hung up waiting for the tall Army lad to try and attack it.
Nice control from Lewis Smith. Puts Jensen Bryan through. Just looking to find Matt Easton, but he couldn't. Army have it then. Cut out well, brilliantly cut out by Monaghan. Cal Monaghan still on the ball. Navy working it well down that left-hand side. Seems a useful source for them. But here come the Army again with Lewis Simmons, whose free kick very nearly yielded a goal for the team in the red shirts. Bit of space then for Roche here. Misses his first kick, and the Army then with an opportunity. That's a lovely ball through. Oh, and that was a clear push, it seemed to me, from, well, Rob Tucker got away with it.
Defenders Union, good defending.
Yep. Aaron Moore not putting up too much of a protest about it, but that is a free kick to the Army.
Can't defend that one.
Yeah, good old-fashioned shoulder charge, I suppose they would say, in back in the day. Free kick then on this right-hand side of the field. Just looking at it, I've seen them given, haven't you? 0-0 then. Free kick then, which Lewis Simmons will take. aiming to float it in from that right-hand side. Lots of red shirts in there. And the header comes in from Aaron Moore over the bar. But it was a well-directed free kick again, so the Army certainly making better uses of their set pieces in this game so far, Phil, than maybe we saw last week. Goal kick goes long for the Navy. Watts. Again, looking for that long ball, looking to put Simmons through, but the direction not quite there. There'll be a free kick then to the Army. It's George Salloway, the referee. All the officials coming from the Royal Air Force today, as you would expect. And Phil, you've had quite a journey to get down to us today from the northeast of England. You've probably driven through all weather conditions, I don't know.
You're not kidding.
It's great to have you here with us today for our coverage from this match. Message from Kieran Feeney. Does Phil Bright play for UCAF? Oof. He's trying to wind you up, but not working. Adrian Scott says, come on the Navy from the Junior Rates Mess HMS Protector, currently watching in the South Pole. That's fantastic. Great to have you along with us today and to know that you're watching so far away, 8,000 odd miles away in the South Atlantic, right down there on the South Pole. Fantastic. That's great news.
Oh, it's some effort, that.
It certainly is. And the Navy now showing themselves. Here's Roche just on the edge of in the 6-yard box. Oh, and that's a great save from the goalkeeper. I mean, I thought that Jensen Bryan, he almost sort of shoved it in, didn't he, from his body?
He didn't know a lot about it. It sort of hit him in the chest and ended up goal-bound, and I think the keeper's done really well to clear that off the line.
Yeah, great save from Harry Birchnell there to keep it at 0-0. Well, both sides have had chances here. We've had a really close free kick for the Army. That chance, one of 3 for the Navy in this first half. It's no score so far, but we could be in for a few goals here, we hope so.
A disallowed goal as well.
Yeah, and a disallowed goal for offside. Good challenge from Jake Walker. Navy then sensing maybe they can get something here. Oof. That was a very strong challenge there.
That's late.
Yeah, it was late. And I've got a feeling that the referee's going to have words with Jensen Bryan there. It was a late tackle. On Ethan Reynolds. Ethan seems to be okay, which is good to see. Just a stern word into the ear of Jensen Bryan. As Birchnell takes the goal kick for the Army. Good competitive game this so far. So much to play for, of course, for both of these teams. The Navy going for a 3rd successive inter-services development title. Although Stu Morgan anxious to point out this is not a 3-peat for them. They're not going for the old 3-peats as in Pete Sampras with tennis. They're going to start a new dynasty as he's taken over, obviously, from Chris James as the development team manager. Chris, I know, is here today. He was with us last week. Army, in fact, I think all the head coaches are here today.
And as you say about
watching.
the Navy as well, plenty of new faces in there.
Yeah, there are. Of course, that's what this development championship is all about, giving new players an opportunity.
Yeah, and you use the example, the positive example of players that are no longer eligible, just to show what you can do at this level and end up in the UCAF side.
Well, you don't have to look any further than young Jack last year from the Navy, who had a terrific inter-services under-23, went straight into the senior team, and then went straight into the UCAF team as well, as we have with Owen James here. You know, Owen's gone straight into UCAF. If you're good enough, if you have the talent, then you will be picked. You'll be picked out by the coaches, and you'll get your opportunity. And so for any young footballers watching who are thinking of joining, this is a great opportunity to show what you can do and play at this level and get spotted and get noticed. Free kick taken quickly. Owen James on the edge of the box. Beats off one challenge. Still going. Great save from the goalkeeper. But that was wonderful work then from Owen James there.
He has great feet on the edge of the box. And I don't know how he engineered the chance, really.
Well, Matt Tomlinson's had to make a couple of saves now.
I should say it is a really good save as well.
It was an excellent save, because I don't think he would have been expecting someone to go for it from that angle. But the Army keeping pressing. Ball goes high up. Good goalkeeping again. And Matt Tomlinson was fouled in the end. But he's proved himself already, the AET, based at Royal Naval Air Station, Yeovilton. Good goalkeeping we've seen at both ends to keep the score at 0-0. In fact, you're looking back and thinking, how on earth is this still 0-0, Phil? Approaching the 40th minute here. Referee says that was a foul. Yeah, a late challenge on Jake Walker there. Another stern word coming in from George Salloway. In fact, I think he's reaching for his notebook, and I think there may be a yellow card brandished for that challenge. Yeah, that's Dom Wormsley, whose name is gone into the book. Didn't see the card brandished, but
yeah, I think it was.
It was, yeah. It kind of clashes with his shirt, the referee's shirt, so he brandishes it close to his chest, so we're not going to see it. Yeah, definitely a yellow card then, the first one of the game, from Dom Wormsley for that challenge on Jake Walker. So free kick then, 35-40 yards out. Well, a shot of sorts came in there, nothing though to trouble Matt Tomlinson. Sorry, to trouble Harry Birchnell in the Army goal. And here's Alfie Watts. Must say I've been really impressed with Don Berger at the back for the Navy. He's been so solid. Not a lot has got through there, despite the attentions of Owen James. And here come the Army. Keeper off his line, clears it. Only as far as James. Goes for the shot. Well, it was worth a try, wasn't it? And that's so typical of Owen James, you know, really going for it. He's been outstanding so far.
Yeah, worth an effort when the keeper comes out the 18-yard box like that.
Yeah, Matt Tomlinson did come a long way off his line, and well, if that had gone in, it would have been one of the goals of the season, wouldn't it? I think certainly in military football. As it stands, still no score between these two teams. Really competitive fixture, this. Nice turn again from Louis Smith. But the challenge again coming in from Ethan Reynolds, who's stayed down.
It to go, and I thought it was a foul.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a foul too. And Ethan's probably wondering what he's done wrong today, because he seems to be in the walls a bit on the end of some tackles. Holding on, that'll definitely be a yellow card, I would have thought, for one of the Navy players.
It's another neat little flick from Owen James in the middle as well.
Yeah. The referee, he's just coming over to have a word with Jake Walker. In fact, it's rather more than a word, as we say. That's going to be a yellow card booking. So it's now 1 each in terms of the card brandishing here at Aldershot. Don't think you'd have any complaints about that. Hello to James Roberts, who is watching today. And wherever you are, it's great to have you alongside us.
Yeah, try and beat the South Pole.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Fantastic to hear HMS Protector down there from the lads down there. I hope you're all enjoying the action. Off the post, and that was Owen James again from that free kick. Shot goes in, goes wide, but that again so close to a goal, and I think Owen is beginning to wonder what he's got to do to score, because that was really excellent play from him again.
But you feel like if the Army are going to score, he's going to be involved somehow.
You certainly do. And I think this is all credit to the RAF last week, because Owen really never got a look in last week against the Air Force. But
yeah, defended well against him.
Yeah, they kept him out of it, but he's had a couple of great chances. He's made one superb opportunity, and that one he's just hit the post. So the Navy holding on at the moment. That's really nice play from Cal Monaghan. But the ball breaks down again for both teams. Backwards and forwards it's going. Throw goes to the Navy. I don't think we're going to have too much stoppage time at the end of this first half, Phil, because the game has just flowed really well, hasn't it? You know, there've been I think just one little stoppage for an injury, but really nothing to shout about. So I don't expect us to have too much extra time at the end of this first half. We're into the last minute of normal time in this first period, in this second inter-services match of the inter-services season for the young players. Free kick then goes to Lewis Simmons. A few yelps going up, I think, from the Army players who maybe thought the advantage could have been played there, but I think he's got that absolutely right. Has George Salloway there.
Good chance to get a ball into the box just before half time.
Yeah, it's always a great time to score, isn't it? Just before the interval, if you can.
Is there a bad time to score, John?
Probably not, but psychologically, I think if you go in having just scored right on the half-time whistle, then you know, it makes the coach's team talk a little bit different, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And well, conversely, the other way.
Absolutely. So in we go to stoppage time then. 0-0 the score. And that free kick is going to go out of play. And indeed, that is the last action of a well-contested first half film. Just looking back, I think we could say that Dom Wormsley, or rather Owen James, has had the best of the opportunities so far for the Army. He went very, very close with one shot that was brilliantly saved by Matt Tomlinson. Tomlinson also saved a free kick from Lewis Simmons, but at the other end, the Navy had a goal disallowed for offside, which came very, very close for them. And Matt Eyston also had an opportunity as well, which he went, again, the ball, I think, in the side netting when he could have done better. And so it's scoreless at half-time, but I think we've got plenty of opportunity, Phil, for goals in the second half.
It's been a really well-contested first half. Every ball been fought for. There's been a few yellow cards, a few really good chances. I don't know how it's still 0-0. There can only be goals. Let's hope for goals.
Well, let's hope for goals in the second half. But the half-time score here at the Military Stadium Aldershot, it's the Army 0, the Royal Navy 0. We're going to bring you now some highlights during this half-time period. Some more excellent under-23 football, including some of the best goals we've seen over the last few years. But also we're going to start just by bringing you the highlights from the game that happened 7 days ago at Rayners Lane, when the Army were the visitors for the RAF. Let's bring up the action then from Rayners Lane from 7 days ago. Slightly off centre position here. And straight away the Army getting themselves forward, looking to make a forward run. And it's a really good run from Lewis Simmons straight away. Gets the ball inside, and very close was Owen James on the end of it. Well, fair warning for the RAF. Here's a good one. Oh, goes down. And the referee has said that is a penalty. Well, it was a challenge that came in from the goalkeeper, and it was Luke Preen who went in for it. And sends the keeper the wrong way, right down the middle. And Dean Hyam scores that first goal. Well, that's good play. Opportunity then for the Air Force. Oh, the header. Oh, and he's hit it wide. Well, another gilt-edged chance. Good turn from Simmons. Ball goes across. Oh. And how on earth did that stay out? It's the Air Force, though, bringing it clear over the halfway line. I want a real opportunity then, if he can get there first, and he certainly can. And it's a 2-0 lead then. Logan Buick then chasing hard, getting the goal, and it was absolutely out of nothing, Chris.
Yeah, it was a pass to the striker really that he didn't pick up. He would probably been offside if he had. So and then yeah, Logan Buick, you know, great energy this deep into the game.
That's a nice turn, a beautiful ball through for Leighton. Squares it, and it goes right across the face of goal. Taki gets the ball. It goes wide onto this left-hand side to Alfie Watts. And that is the last action of this second half, and it's a victory then for the team in light blue. Well, it's their first win for more than 3 years.
As well, so that's what it's all about, trying to provide opportunities for these guys to play regular football, which is not always.
It's charged down, sorry, Bowman's given it away, and the shot from distance is in, and the Army have a second, and the RAF have literally gifted them the second goal. It's been 20 long years since Wolves have found themselves in the 5th round of the Women's FA Cup, and in that time women's football has been revitalised, and the club themselves, Wolves, have had a major transformation under RAF corporal Dan McNamara. Today could be the reward for him and these fans, a 6th round place for the very first time in their history. Since taking the job in 2018, Corporal McNamara has had some heartbreaking defeats, but some of the highest highs you can imagine in women's football. 2 promotions, 1 county cup win, and now Wolves sit just 2 divisions below the big time. But the big time comes today. Their opponents, Brighton, Super League talent.
First time in 20 years the club have got to this stage, and I've just told the girls that we've got to remember what this is. We should have been at Filed Away this week. We're currently at home. 1,500 tickets sold, hosting Super League Brighton and Hove Albion, so we can't forget what we've achieved to this point, but you know, we're looking forward to going out and giving a good count of ourselves, and hopefully we can put on a good show.
But who's to say they can't pull it off? It would be a testament to the job that McNamara has done, and also the talent in the military, coaching players. Everybody involved in military football is winning Dan McNamara on today.
Some early hope, but that was extinguished on the 40-minute mark as Katie Robinson proved her Lioness quality to make it 1-0 Brighton. Wolves had to fight back, and they gave it everything. Would they get the reward from the penalty spot? Beth Merrick rattled it in, and it stayed like that until the 88th minute, when disaster struck. Emma Kullberg scoring a hat-trick in the final 6 minutes, ending the FA Cup dream of Wolves and their RAF corporal.
It's tough because it's not 4-1. That game's not 4-1. To get to the 87th minute at 1-1, you know, that's an achievement in itself. And then, listen, we once the second one goes in and we know we're beaten, we sort of switch off. But listen, they've shown why they're in the Super League and why they're top international players. You know, but I don't think the girls deserve to be on the end of a 4-1 there.
Wolves still have a cup final to play next week in the County Cup, while their RAF head coach is still focused on taking them to the top tier in English football.
Duty then, if he can get there first, and he certainly can. So, disappointment then for the Wolves women's team, and Bakker, of course, they've done such a great job there with that team, but so unlucky. Phil, I don't know whether you were able to watch any of that with us earlier on, but the the Wolves women's team in the FA Cup, they were holding Brighton and Hove Albion to 1-1 going into the last 3 minutes of the game. It then all went a bit wrong for them and they conceded 3 more goals. But that's a great effort, isn't it, for the Wolves team against Brighton, who are, they're a women's Super League team. Yeah, I didn't catch it earlier today, but I did catch previous rounds. It's an unbelievable effort. So well done, Maka, and everyone involved with the women's team, obviously. And Hugh McCluskey, with the UCAF women's team as well, and at all levels, military football is just shining through at the moment. Welcome back here, by the way, to the military stadium here in Aldershot, where the score at half-time 0-0 between the Army and the Royal Navy here. But if you've been with us for the first half, you'll know that we've not been short of action at all and opportunities for both teams. The Navy, well, they had a goal disallowed, but the Army as well came really close, Phil, didn't they, with a couple of opportunities. Yeah, they've hit the post and forced a really good save, 2 really good saves out the keeper. Yeah, it's been really competitive, and long may it continue. Let's hope for some goals, though. Yeah, I think goals is what we're after, obviously, in the second half. Just to let you know as well, actually, that I've been making a few bit of consultations about the competition here. And there are some permutations, which means that the Army, despite losing 2-0 to the RAF in that opening game, could still win the trophy here, and they could still win the under-23 championship. Basically, it's all to do with goal difference. Now, the RAF, of course, won 2-0 last week. If the Army were to win 3-0 here, and then the Navy were to win, say, 1-0 against the RAF, then the Army would be champions. So it's it's still in the balance, and that with this sort of 3-team tournament and 2 matches does make that possible. Yeah, the format means that even if you lose your first game, you're not. Don't get me wrong, it's harder, but you're never out of it. No, and quite right too. And of course, we could have a permutation where a 2-goal victory for the Army here could put them right back in the competition. A 2-goal victory for the Royal Navy next week against the RAF could mean we're all square and actually level, and the Inter-Services Trophy has to be split 3 ways. I would doubt whether that will happen, but we will have to wait and see. Must just mention as well what this competition is all about today. Not only are they playing, of course, for the Inter-Services bragging rights, but also for the Joe Collins Trophy, which is a lovely silver trophy, which is sat here in the main stand very close to us at the moment. And Joe Collins joined the Army Apprentice College at 16 years of age. Outstanding performances for his corps. The Royal Signals led to Army Youth, then senior selection in quick succession. He remains the only player to have represented the Army at both youth, senior and UCAF, or combined services level, in the same season. Amazing record, Phil, actually. And just looking at his figures, Joe played 200 times for his corps, 169 appearances for the Army, and over 50 times for UCAF / combined services in his playing career. In more recent times, he's coached at 4 Lancs to Army Reserve Cup success and has masterminded further success as they also became the first reserve unit to win the Army Super Cup. In 2023, Joe coached the Army Masters to win the inaugural Masters Inter-Services Major Billy Thompson BEM Trophy, followed by gold medal success in the European Masters Games in Helsinki. Well, Joe was awarded a Service to Football Award in 2015 for his, inverted commas, sustained and selfless dedication to Army football over a quarter of a century and invaluable dedicated service to the association. An absolutely worthy winner and worthy person to have a trophy named after him, wouldn't you say? Yeah, definitely. Special recognition, and deservedly so. And it's actually really nice that the development fixtures in the Inter-Services now have a trophy to be played for. Obviously, it's been a thing in the senior fixtures. Absolutely. And first year that it's been done in the development, so a good addition. Yeah, well, next week it's the Richard Wilkinson Trophy. Sadly, Richard left us in 2022, and he leaves a legacy of all things brilliant in Royal Navy football. And of course we had the Royal Air Force representative last week as well. So it's great that finally this level of football has got a trophy to play for just for the individual match. Yeah, and individuals well worthy of recognition as well. Okay, so we are ready to go then, I think, for the second half. Both teams are out on the pitch here. And we're looking forward to a really excellent second half of football, and hopefully, as we say, Phil, some goals to show for the efforts that the players are putting in. But it's 0-0 at half-time here. If you're just joining us live on our Forces News YouTube channel or on Facebook today. And we are looking forward, obviously, to bringing you this second half here, and hope that the goals start to flow, because they need to. For both of these teams, obviously for the Army particularly, they need the goals. They need at least 2 goals to get themselves back into this competition. They need 2 goals without reply to give themselves a chance going into the final match of the competition next week in Portsmouth. And it's the Royal Navy who are wearing their all dark strip, who are kicking from right to left as we look here in the main stand in Aldershot at the Military Stadium. Floodlights are now on. 3 o'clock kickoff here, of course. So it's going to start getting a bit gloomy towards the end of the game. Nice control from Leighton there. Ball gathered to play. It will be an Army throw. Throwing then to be taken by the Army by Danny Constable. I think I'm right in saying this is probably Danny's last crack at under-23 football. He'll be going into focus on the seniors, which is what, and well, Owen James, bit of jiggery pokery from him there, but couldn't keep the ball in play. The Navy have the throw down this right-hand side. Good early pressure then from the Army. Here's Reynolds. Out to Alfie Watts. And the Army will have that throw. They seem to have settled quickest in the second half, Phil, so far.
Yeah, obviously they need goals, so I was just thinking there, I wonder when or if they're going to change their approach a little bit and go a little bit more direct, obviously needing goals.
Well, they do need the goals. Here's Jack Leighton on the right-hand side here. Gets the cross in. Owen turns. Hits the shot. It's saved by them. Navy having to defend, trying to. Great save from the goalkeeper again. That was a fantastic save there from Alfie Watts, I think it was, who got the shot in there. Goes for a corner, but that could so easily have been a goal for the Army, which, as you say, is what they desperately need to get themselves into this. Well, another outstanding save from Matt Tomlinson.
Yeah, both goalkeepers denying us goals this afternoon. It's a great save.
It was. I mean, low to his right, didn't have much time. The ball hit with a lot of power, but he turned it around the post. Army then with the corner. It'll be hit straight back in there, but no danger at all to the Navy goal. Davy Watts then with that shot there. Live here on Forces News Facebook and on our YouTube channel. Oh, it's another one hits the woodwork. You just can't take your eye off this for a second. Well,
I thought it had hit the bar and gone in at one point, the angle we're sat at, but it's hit the bar and bounced out.
And it really fooled Harry Birchnell as well. And it was a terrific effort, actually, and it came in from the right back from Sam Leafsley.
I've got to say, I think he was trying to cross it.
Well, he will, of course, deny that. If it had gone in, he would certainly have denied it. So, chances at both ends early in the second half here for both sides. But it remains 0-0. And we're not quite sure how. On St Valentine's Day here We are loving the football. Here come the Navy once more. Here's Jensen Bryan. Holds it up well.
In a tight area, that.
He did so well, didn't he? He's still got it, and he'll win the corner. So well played, the Navy. Getting themselves back. Kieran Feeney reckons the Navy's the better team. Well, you would say that, Kieran. Come on, let's face it. But both teams have had their chances, but neither have been taken so far. What can the Navy do here? It's Matt Easton who's going to take the corner kick, floated in, collected by Walker, but he only guides it out of play for an Army throw. Which Ethan Reynolds will take. I think it's remained pretty dry here so far. I don't think we've seen any. It's a bit damp and dismal, but no real rain to shout out in this second inter-services under-23 fixture of this 2024 season. Army get the throw. They get the nod in the end, which Alfie Watts leaves. Army trying to play themselves out of trouble here, but tenacious tackling coming in from both sides, trying to get the ball back whenever they can. But just look at Owen James again, the strength that he has. Ball into the edge of the box. Oh, and the shot from Jack Layton, well, he misdirected it in the end, but it could have gone anywhere. But again, superb work from Owen James there to create that opportunity.
Yeah, really good from Owen to play Layton in, and I'm sure he could have taken another touch. But he's had a great game, Layton, on this right side. He's always been a constant outlet for the Army.
Alfie Moulding with a strong challenge there to get the ball back upfield as the Army maintain their pressure. 52 minutes played here in Aldershot. It remains 0-0. Are we going to have the deadlock broken? Great goalkeeping, and the woodwork so far has denied both teams.
Goalkeepers have played their part.
Yeah, they certainly have. Both keepers have made some great saves. Matt Tomlinson, the last. I think Harry Birchnell, he did get a touch when that ball hit the crossbar, but it really caught him out. The shot from Sam Leavesley. Navy then, it's just slightly overhit there by Carl Monaghan, out of play. Sol Roche really unable to catch that. Just looking to see if any movement on the bench is happening. So getting towards that sort of hour period. You might see a few changes being made by the respective coaches. No half-time changes made to either team. Harry Birchnell, RLC player, youth team player with Portsmouth, and of course the son of a former Army head coach, Sean Birchnell, keeping the family tradition of Army football going. Layton, nice ball, collected by Aaron Moore. Back to Layton, into the box. Layton still going, but crowded out in the end by the Navy. And
yeah, it's just been ushered out.
It was a goal kick. I think there was just a question marks on the officials there about whether the Navy man got a touch or whether it was the last touch coming from Jack Layton. But that was the decision. And I think it looks like we might be having a change, as we suggested might happen. It's the Navy who are going to make the first change this afternoon. Ewan Taylor is set to come on, and he's replacing Louis Smith, who I think might have picked up a knock. Actually, he was hobbling slightly. So Number 14, Ewan Taylor, is on from HMS Forth. This is his second year in the under-23 team. So what difference can he make, I wonder? I was quite impressed, actually, with Lewis Smith.
Yeah, potentially protecting him for next week.
Maybe. If he's carrying a knock, there's no point in carrying him. Here's Roche. Nice control for the Navy. Here's Walker, Jake Walker. Cross comes in from Brian. Safely in the hands, though, of goalkeeper Harry Birchnell, who decides to kick it long, but out of play. Danger averted for the Navy. Don't see the ball being kicked out very often these days in football, do you, Phil? At any level. Bryant. And that'll be no danger for the Army. Rolls harmlessly out of play for the throw. 55 minutes gone here, no score as yet. It was 0-0 last season, I think, between the RAF and the Army at Rayners Lane.
And the Navy.
Army, yes, it was the RAF and the Navy last year. That's right. But plenty of incentive for both of these teams to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, this result only really suits the Air Force as it stands.
Well, it will suit the Navy better, obviously, because they know that they would have to get a victory over the RAF next week at home, on home soil at HMS Temeraire on the Victory Stadium. We will, of course, be there to bring you that game here on Forces News. So the Navy then have a free kick on the right-hand side. And Matt Eiston's going to take it, based at HMS Sultan. Left-footed. Into the back of the net! Well, it's gone straight in.
He's claiming it, he's wheeling off, he's claiming it.
He is claiming it. And, well, the Navy absolutely delighted with that. Not quite sure what happened with the Army defence there. It just went through everybody. And, well, the deadlock has been broken, Phil. It's 1-0.
Yeah, I think it's taken a flick off an Army defender. Well, just gone all the way through.
It looked like it might have come off the head, actually, of Alfie Moulding. But the Navy aren't bothered about that. They have the lead here. Well, we were talking about how important a goal was. It's absolutely vital now, isn't it, for the Army? And, in fact, they're going to make changes very, very quickly here. Coming off for them is Alfie Watts. And he's been replaced by Liam Walsh, wearing number 16. So, changes being made by Griff.
Well, now they really have to go for it, don't they?
And they're making, I think, yeah, they swapped over. In fact, it's number 18 who's come on, I beg your pardon. It's actually Matty Gray who's come on for the Army. They now trail by 1-0. Well, whether it was an own goal or whether it was Matt Eiston who will claim the credit for that, I'm sure he will, because
sure
it was an excellent free kick. But it went in, and the Navy, the visitors, have the lead here by 1-0. And you've got to feel sorry for the Army in a way, because they've had plenty of opportunities themselves, come very, very close. It's the Navy who had a goal disallowed in the first half, remember. But what can the Army do here? It's going to take all their resolve now to get themselves back into this game. Leighton comes in field. He's swapped over onto that, back onto that left-hand side. In fact, the two wingers, the 7 and 11, are sort of almost seem to be swapping together. But here come the Navy again with an opportunity for Roche. On the edge of the penalty area, teases up. But that's safe for Harry Birchnell. Nothing he could do about the goal. I think you're right, actually, Phil. I'm fairly sure it took a deflection.
Yeah, it's tough to react to when it comes into a crowd. The free kick's put into a great area and it's flicked on. It's tough to react to. He doesn't know if no one's going to get a touch and it just bounces harmlessly through, or someone has ultimately knocked it into their own net, I think. However, the Navy lad will claim it, I'm sure.
I'm sure he will. Be interesting to know what your reactions are watching to that. The Navy under-23s have the lead here. Just before the hour mark. Plenty of time for the Army to get themselves back into this. But the Navy, that goal will give them so much confidence, of course. As they, I don't think they'll be sitting back on a 1-0. They'll be looking for a second to cement the points here.
Well, with the Army obviously needing goals, they'll potentially leave spaces at the back that the Navy can exploit on the break.
I think so. I think it's going to be all hands to the pumps now for the Army. And as you say, there's always that risk that by pushing forward, they're going to leave some gaps at the back. But it's the Navy who have another free kick, which Jake Walker will take for them. This time the Army do clear it, but Walker has it back, goes for goal. Just wide. It was worth a try though, on the edge of the box. Goalkeeper unsighted.
Yeah, worth an effort with bodies in front of the goalkeeper. I think he was fairly comfortable it was going wide though.
So the Royal Navy leading the Army here by a goal to nil. If you're just joining us live on Forces News YouTube channel and Facebook, and I'm sure your naval colleagues down in the South Atlantic, in the Antarctic, are going to be pretty thrilled about that goal going in. Referee just stopping play because Harry Birchnell is just down on the pitch at the moment. Looks like he's got a bit of a problem, which just checking. I think coaching staff are going to come on to have a look at him, check that he's okay. He's been called into action a couple of times and had to make the saves, but absolutely nothing he could do about Matty Eiston's goal.
I think this is a chance for Griff to have a word with his players.
Well, the Navy players are gathered together in their own half of the pitch. But Griff just having a word with his boys as well now. He's obviously well connected with the UCAF setup as well, Phil, isn't he? You know Griff very, very well, and you know, meticulous with his detail, isn't he, in his planning?
Yeah, sometimes he goes into detail that you can't even think of. Great coach, and he'll be disappointed to find his team 1-0 down.
He will. Adam Hickey says, "Come on, Alfie Moulding," who of course is the captain of the Army team. And a lot of support coming in for both teams today, trying to spur their respective teams on here to get the win. At the moment, it's the Navy who have the opportunity, but it's a throw to the Army, which will be taken by Danny Constable. Making plenty of extra yardage down that pitch. Navy defending well, but still going in there, the Army. And it's interesting that we've not seen as much of Owen James so far in this second half as we did in the first. He had one great ball that he played forward, but he's not being given the opportunity that, well, there's a
bit of handbags, I think.
A bit of handbags at 17 paces there. And Jensen Bryan is down. I told you it was St Valentine's Day, and there's not a lot of love lost. It was a meaty challenge there, and an elbow did go in, or a hand did go in there on the throat of Jensen Bryan. VAR might have been taking a look at something like that, but we don't have VAR here. Some say luckily. Well, I'm hearing from Dom, our director. On the replay, it did appear to be a tap on the chin. Nothing more serious than that. But not an act of love on Valentine's Day. Anyway, play goes on. No harm done. And Danny Constable is moved back by the officials. A Constable moved back by the officials. That's one, isn't it? What can the Army do here? The Navy really well organised at the back. Not much space for them, but Lewis Simmons still has it. He's done really well here. Goes to the byline, gets the cross in, but there's only a Royal Navy boot on the end of it to clear it.
Yeah, just needed an Army midfielder to read the cutback.
Intelligent play from the Navy team here. They've got everyone bar their central striker, Jensen Bryan, back helping. Army pushing forward, looking for this equaliser. Eventually it's cleared by Tucker. And that's going to be a 50-50 chance. Harry Birchnell gets there before the Royal Navy substitutes Ewan Taylor, but the whistle had gone for offside. That was pretty tight, actually. We're pretty well in line here, Phil. I thought that was 50-50.
Yeah, it looked tight. I'll never question the officials, though.
Absolutely not, no. And nor should we. They do a great job from all three services, and I think it's reflected in the number of our military officials who do make it through onto the Football League and to the lower part of the pyramid to officiate. Be great to see one of our military men and women possibly in the Premier League. We certainly have that in the women's. There's going to be another change here, I think, for the Navy. Making a change, and it looks like the man who's coming off for them is Cal O'Leary, the captain, and he's going to be replaced by Aaron Rennick wearing number 12. So he's been pretty quiet actually as Cal. I just wonder whether he might be also carrying a bit of a knock, or as you say, maybe protecting him for next week.
Yeah, 1-0 up, don't take any risks.
Paula Bright-Hill says that the support team are tuning in.
Told you they would be.
They're returning from work, obviously. Here come the Army again, looking for that equaliser. It's good defensive play, though. Great work from Sam Leavesley. No number on his back. He is number 2. He had to have his shirt replaced fairly early on in the game. It took a bit of a rip in the early moments of the match. Watts. Bit of a chase on for that, but it's guided out by the Navy, by Carl Monaghan, based at His Majesty's Naval Base Devonport. His second inter-services season with them. The engineering technician, marine engineer. Matt Tomlinson then with the goal kick, and you know, if it stays like this, Phil, the Navy are going to have an awful lot to thank their goalkeeper for 2 superb saves that he's made, 1 in each half.
Yeah, definitely. One of them, I don't know how he kept out.
Well, Gray is on the end of this, Matty Gray. Oh, and it's gone just wide. Well, what an opportunity that was for the Army. Great work from Gray there. Made the opportunity, made the space. His shot going just wide. Tomlinson narrowing the angle well. But it looked as if it was flying into the net.
Yeah, it looks like it might have been close, and obviously the Army need more chances like that.
I'm sure Matt Tomlinson pretty relieved to see that one fly past that near post.
He'll tell you had it covered.
He will tell you had it covered now, yeah. It could so easily have been 1-1. But I think for the Army, Matt Gray has made a difference since he came on, wearing number 18.
Yeah, it just gives them another option to go into up front other than Owen as well.
Rush with the ball through, chased by the Navy, but the Army clear up. Nice work from James, turns well, but only finds the imposing figure of Rob Tucker. And here come the Navy with Brian. Robbed though by the Army, by Captain Alfie Moulding. Did well there. This game you just feel is opening out now, Phil, as you would expect, as we're into the last 20 minutes. Gosh, it's gone fast, hasn't it, this game? Seems to have gone really quickly. Ball was out of play. Jack Layton couldn't keep it in play, so it's going to be a throw for the senior service here for the Royal Navy. Leading by a goal to nil in this under-23 inter-services championship match in Aldershot on Army territory here. Nothing the Navy like more than coming here and beating their old rivals, their oldest rivals. I say the rivals with the RAF as well, of course, Phil. I have to say that be very careful with an airman here. And here's Roche, couldn't control it. That ball goes out of play eventually. Harry Birchnell not having to do any work. And the one thing the Army, of course, can't afford now is to concede a second goal. They will push and push. Strong challenge going in from Constable.
Displayed advantage. Looked like an arm in the back of the head.
Yeah, and it was Sol Roche who was on the end of it. Ball out of play. It will be a goal kick then to the Army. Yeah, Alfie Moulding taking no prisoners there at all.
We haven't seen it yet, but I just wonder if the Army will go a little bit more direct and when.
Here's James, Owen James. It's a nice ball out. Eventually it's collected by Moore. Aaron Moore on the edge of the box, goes for the chip. Goes wide. Another chance goes begging for the Army. Of course, they lost 2-0 to the Air Force last week. It will be almost unthinkable for them to go through 2 inter-services games at this level without getting a goal. But that's how it stands at the moment. The Army trailing here to the visiting Royal Navy team by a goal to nil. Scored just before the hour. Matt Eyston with a long free kick. It must have been about 45 yards out, which defeated everyone. And we think it might have just got a touch off Alfie Moulding, the Army captain, and defeated Harry Birchnell. Could do nothing about it at all. Flying into the back of the net, and it's 1-0 to the Navy, and it remains that way. Navy looking for a second goal. Roche has his cross blocked. Navy will have the throw. Taken by Monaghan. Here's a substitute, Rennick. Roche chases after it. He will get the corner. Intelligent play, wasn't it, there from Sol Roche?
Yeah, just played it off the defender. Didn't really have an option in the box.
And of course what this does as well, it just sort of takes the heat out of the game as far as the Navy are concerned and gives them a bit of a breather. Bring their big defensive line-up forward for the corner. A lot of pushing and shoving on that line. Corner comes in. Oh, and it's hooked over the bar. Well, what an opportunity that was. And it was actually Sam Leavesley again coming in, ghosting in at that far post. If he just kept his head down,
It's a great delivery.
He could have guided it into the net.
They've put the big lads on the goalkeeper and sort of crowded him out, put the ball on top of him, and it just needed someone else to come and attack it.
Well, Stu Morgan will be delighted so far with his young chargers here, how they're doing. Playing a good game here. Not giving the Army too much, but there are always opportunities. They can change on a knife edge. Owen James then with the throw, very quickly taken. Great defensive work again for the Navy. That's excellent stuff from Rob Tucker. Tucker and Berger have been solid at the back for the Navy this afternoon. We'll be going end to end before too long, I'm sure, as we into the last quarter of an hour of this game. As the Army search for that equaliser, the Navy push for a second. They lead 1-0, but here come the Army. That's really nice work from them, but the offside whistle, or the flag, has gone up against Owen James. Just timed his run a little bit too soon.
It's the right idea, though. It's the sort of ball that they'll have to play and try and get Owen involved if they're looking for a goal.
That's what they need to do. The Navy then is Roche. Good defensive cover again from Danny Constable, but he concedes another corner. And once more, it'll be interesting to see how the Navy play this one, whether it looks like a couple of their big guns are going forward. I can see Don Berger heading towards, striding towards that penalty area. And the same with Rob Tucker. So the big men are in there. And again, the turn on the edge of the box from the number 2. Didn't get to him this time. And it is a free kick to the Army, but you could just see there Sam Leasy making the turn and running round. See if he could get on the end of it as he did for that original corner, that last corner. Gray does really well, bets the ball out to the left-hand side there. Coming in for the shot, it actually hits Gray. It was the shot came in from Jack Layton.
I think it's his own player, isn't it?
It's hit him, yeah, and it's left Layton on the floor at the moment. He's gone and picked himself up now. Oh, what an opportunity that was, and a great save in the end from Harry Birchnell and Jensen Bryan. He just spotted the gap there.
Yeah, it's an opportunistic effort. I think he's spotted the keeper just trying to read the cross, and he's gone for the near post. Absolutely, and well, it's so nearly produced another goal. But in the end, it was a really good save from the goalkeeper, from Birchnell. Just had to redirect his feet at the last minute and was able to touch the ball around the post. It was a great save. Would have been a bit embarrassing, actually, had it gone in, I suppose. Anyway, a third corner in quick succession then for the Royal Navy. Again, goes long. Birchnell makes the save. It's cleared off the line eventually by Matty Gray. Now, what can the Army do here? But the Navy have got their men back. Great control from James again. Owen James wins the throw, wins the free kick, I should say. The foul by Tucker. Army just taking it a bit too quickly. They're rushing it, which is understandable given the circumstances. With around 10 minutes left plus stoppage time. Desperate to get themselves back into this game and salvage something from their under-23 season. Alfie Moulding then the captain. There's going to be another change, I think, for the Army. Player down at the moment on that far side of the field, just on the edge of the 6-yard box. The man down is, I think, Ethan Reynolds, who's just down at the moment. No, it is not Reynolds. Yeah, it's a substitute, Matty Gray, who's gone down. And he's the man who basically cleared his lines
after that last corner from the Navy. But the Army are going to make a change, and I think the man who's going to come on is Femi Taki. He's going to come on very shortly. And he's going to replace Don Walmsley. So Taki actually wearing number 19, although he's down on our list as wearing number 15, but that's definitely Taki who's going to come on. And that's a disappointment for Matthew Gray there, who's having to leave the field. He's obviously hurt himself there. He's walking very gingerly with the support of his coaching colleagues.
Yeah, no one wants to be forced off, do they?
It's a shame for him. But Taki has come on. Actually, he's wearing number 15. It was number 19 went up on the ball, but he's definitely wearing 15. Is Femi Taki.
To be fair, the board is a long way away.
It is. My eyesight's not what it was, you know, Phil. I'll blame it on my age. But this is Brian on the ball. (1-0) the Navy leading here into the last 10 minutes of normal time in this inter-services match. What can the Army do here? Can the Navy increase their lead? Those are the questions. It's a good header in the end from Alfie Moulding, just going for safety.
It's another corner conceded.
And yet another corner for the Navy. This is actually perfect for them, isn't it? It's playing right into their hands.
Yeah, ball's at the wrong end of the pitch as far as the Army are concerned.
And not in any great hurry to take it is Matty Easton, who of course was responsible for the goal with that free kick.
We'll give it to him. Which
eluded everybody, apart from the head, we think, of Alfie Moulding. I don't know. He'll claim it. It's an in-swinger, and the goalkeeper has to make the save again. It's good goalkeeping again from Harry Birchnell. So difficult when they come in. The in-swinger comes in so tight to that post.
And there's so many bodies on the goalkeeper as well. Just looking at it now, he's got about 6 bodies around him, so anything that he comes for, he's got to battle against them first.
It's all perfectly fair at the moment, unless the referee spots an infringement going in. Corner then comes in again. And again, this time it's a Navy head on it, and it'll be another, no, it's an Army head on it, it'll be another corner. So a succession then of corners then for the Royal Navy here. Again, it comes in, and it's harmlessly wide, but so close.
Another great delivery, just begging for a touch.
Yeah, it was Aaron Rennick who took the corner from this left-hand side. Again, looking for those in-swingers. Well, they've got plenty in their armoury, the Royal Navy. I'm sure that the RAF who are watching this will realise that there's plenty of talent in this Navy team, Phil.
Yeah, and try and limit the number of set pieces they give away.
Well, there's been a much better use of set pieces in this game. We commented in the first half about how wasteful they were in that first game, and early doors, I think, in this match there were quite a few wasted corners, but so far in the second half particularly, a lot of danger come through from those set pieces.
Yeah, and obviously the goal coming from one as well.
Well, not least that, yeah, absolutely. So the Army then have the throw, and they're bringing their big men forward as well. Danny Constable and Alfie Moulding all moving into the penalty area. It looks like Aaron Moore's winding himself up for a long throw here. Almost as good as a corner. Comes deep, but it's a Navy head that gets it clear. It was Matt Easton who got it clear. Army will want to maintain this pressure if they can. They need to have the ball at the Navy end of the pitch, at the very least. Roche on the chase for it. But safely back via Davy Watts to the goalkeeper. Navy, though, looking really strong here once more as they drive forward. What can the Army do in response? They win the throw-in, that's all, but it's in their half of the field, not where they need to be. Into the last 5 minutes. It's the Army 0, Royal Navy 1. Nice control from Taki. Army win the throw-in. Which Watts takes. Ball went out of play. This time the Navy have the throw. Good game management so far from the Navy here, just slowing it down. And the referee will just be keeping a very close eye on that to make sure that they're not winding the clock down unnecessarily. Edge of the box, and that is going to go for, this time it's a throw to the Navy, but again, not what the Army needs. They need to have the ball at the other end of the pitch. Navy throw. I don't think this is going to be a long one. I think into the box, but it's the Army who get it clear. What can they do here? All it does is find a dark blue shirt.
Yeah, Navy just seem to be picking up every second ball at the minute.
Walmsley, though, with a good through ball. It is collected by Moore, Aaron Moore. Here's Taki. Needs to get a quality cross in if he can. All that happens is that it comes off Rob Tucker and goes out for a throw.
Yeah, it's well defended.
It was well defended, but the Army still have in possession. Cross comes in. Bit of hesitation maybe at the back. James gets the shot in, and this time it will be offside. It looks like Owen James was offside. Therefore, the Army don't get a corner. (1-0) remains the score here. Good header from Moulding there.
Oh, he's just misjudged it.
Now, chance for the Army here then to break into Navy territory. This is good work from them. It's the tenacious Jack Layton. Ball goes out wide onto the right-hand side this time for Taki. But look how many players the Navy have got back. They're defending in numbers, obviously. Good clearance from Berger. Shouts of handball going up, but the referee allows play to go on. Well, unfortunately, Layton has gone down for the Army. He was trying to chase that lost cause, rather. He's gone down. He's holding his left thigh, I think. So we will have another break in play, I think. And I think maybe another change happening for the Army as well. About to be made. Maybe a last throw of the dice here for Gowan Griffiths. Just final instructions being given. So the change being made. And
yeah,
in fact,
it is
Jack Layton's going off. And he'll be replaced by Nathan Kay.
He was really good first half, Jack Layton, really good. Direct, got his fullback, beat him pretty much every time.
Well, he was dangerous in the second half too. A lot of the great work for the Army on the left-hand side was coming from him, particularly when he switched wings, if you remember.
Yeah, give him that chance to cut inside.
But you have to say the Navy have controlled this game really well, haven't they? And certainly since they scored, they've looked very composed.
Ever since going 1-0 up, they've looked in control. He had the 1/2 chance that went just wide from the Army point of view, but they've controlled it well and slowed it down. And I think they'll take a 1-0.
Oh, definitely.
Sets next week up nicely,
especially with their home game to come. But it's not over yet. The Army certainly won't be giving up. But the Navy have it with Roche on this left-hand side. Eventually out of play. Monaghan not able to get that through back to Roche again.
Just think a lot of time in the second half, especially with the Army going for it. A lot of the second balls have just fallen to our Navy bodies.
So here's Reynolds. Plays it out wide. Great defensive work again from Don Berger. He's really impressed me this afternoon, Phil. In fact, the Navy back line have looked very, very solid, haven't they?
Centre-back pairing have been very good.
They've been excellent.
Heirs to Jack Wright.
That's right. There'll be some interesting decisions being made, I'm sure, at Navy senior level. Having, I know they've got some people here. The Army have got their top coaches watching today. The Navy brought their people here as well, and I'm sure there's a lot of impressive play. But opportunity then for Taki into the box, and the linesman has flagged for a free kick. I don't think it's a penalty. It was outside the box.
Yeah, definitely outside the box. It's a great ball from Owen James to release him, and he's just bought the foul, I think.
I think all the best things that have come from the Army today have come from James, haven't they? Particularly in the first half.
Oh.
But he's...
Second yellow card?
It looks like it. Is it a red?
He's definitely seen red.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a second... was it a straight red?
It wasn't a straight red, was it?
Well, I'm just looking back to see whether it was. But anyway, for these last few minutes, it's the Navy's Carl Monaghan who has gone off the field.
Unless he feels like he's denied a goal-scoring opportunity.
Well, I think it was a straight red. I think it was a straight red card. So, we have drama then in these last few moments. We're into stoppage time here. Can the Army snatch an equaliser? Their free kick expert, Lewis Simmons, is on the ball. Drives it in! And it is just wide. And it's a goal kick to the Navy. Well, it's certainly damaged limitation now then for the Navy to protect this 1-0 lead, surely.
They'll be in no hurry to do anything now.
It was an intelligent free kick actually from Simmons. He saw there was only a two-man wall and drove it for the that near post, hoping that there'd be someone on the end of it. And indeed there was, but it went just wide for the Army in the end, and foiled yet again in their attempts to score. It looks like there's been is there another change made for the Navy, or there is actually they've got a player down at the moment. I think it actually looks like it's Don Berger who might be down.
Spot a cramp.
Yeah, but he is up now. Actually, it is Sam Leavesley who's just had to have a bit of work done to relieve the cramp. He will come back onto the field. And so we can confirm it was a yellow card. That was a second yellow card, which obviously turned into a red card.
That makes more sense.
For Monaghan there. He was shown a yellow card earlier on in the match. I think if he had been the last man or whatever, it would have been a straight red, wouldn't it? But because Taki was actually on the edge of the box or going wide.
He was wide, wasn't he? Yeah.
That's probably the reason why it was a yellow, but had the same effect. What's your thoughts on the potential blue cards? I'll maybe ask you for that in a minute. Here's Taki again. Instead goes back to Constable. That's a really nice through ball. Collected wide, and it's so near to going in the back of the net.
And it's a corner as well.
And it was Owen James who was on the end of that, and he's just wondering how on earth that hasn't gone in. As are so many people here in the Military Stadium supporting the Army today. It was great work from the Army, actually. They worked it really intelligently. We are into the 5th minute of stoppage time here. Have had a couple of breaks, including quite a long one for the injury to Matthew Gray, who of course sadly had to leave the field. Corner comes in. Ball goes back wide again. Army searching for this equaliser. Can they find it? Ball bobbling about there in the box. Good work from Reynolds.
Anywhere will do for the Army.
Gets it across.
For the Navy, sorry.
Goalkeeper doesn't make it. Navy clear their lines and preserve the 1-0 lead. Well, it's desperation defending for the Navy at the moment, trying to hold on to this 1-0 lead as the Army search for the equaliser. Remains 1-0.
Could have gone anywhere then.
Wouldn't have surprised me if that ended up in the back of the net. Taki goes for goal, but that's going to be over the bar. And that could just be the last attempt of the match. Well, another change is going to be made for the Navy. And the man who's going off actually is one of the subs, I think. Is it Ewan Taylor? He's leaving.
Yeah, furthest man from the dugout.
Yeah. And coming on for them is Austin Turner. So Turner comes on, and a man who's only just come on as a substitute, Ewan Taylor. Turner, obviously, who is a defender. And they're obviously brought him on just to sort of shore things up at the back. But we continue, the play continues here. The Army searching for an equaliser. Taki will pick this one up then on the right hand side. Needs a good cross. It's well defended by the Navy. And Turner gets his first touch of the ball. But Taki's still going. Great work from him. Constable crosses it in. That will be safely into the hands of Matt Tomlinson, the goalkeeper, who surprisingly enough falls to his knees just to use up a little bit more time, and he goes long with the clearance. Constable is on the end of it.
Ball hoisted into the box in the Army and just no one going up for it with the keeper.
It's so difficult really at this stage in the game. They must be tired, both teams, because it's been a non-stop game. But as it stands, the Navy on the verge of winning here at Aldershot to preserve this unbeaten run in the Inter-Services Under-23 Championship. And the Joe Collins Trophy could well be theirs. The ball is gone.
James header.
He scored. James has scored. So difficult to tell from where we were, but it is a header, and it's a goal in the last moments of this game.
It's a diving header, and he's guided it really well into the bottom corner.
So, excitement all the way in the 8th minute of stoppage time here. Just looking at it again, it was a really good through ball for them. And the header from Owen James finally beats Matt Tomlinson. The Army have a lifeline. It's 1-1. Well, all credit to them for continuing the fight. The Navy, well, having lost a player, they've had to reorganise. The Army will just keep trying.
Need to get the ball forward now.
If they can get another goal, and who knows how much extra time is going to be played. But we are into the 9th minute of stoppage time in this Inter-Services game. It's 1-1. Extraordinary.
Ninth
Excitement.
minute, it's
And
like the Premier League.
And here come the Army again. They've got an opportunity here. And James is on the end of it again. And this time the keeper makes the save. Well, it's astonishing stuff here.
That's another half chance.
It was more than a half chance. And if... Well, that was a foul. Double foul then from Alfie Moulding. Just a little bit too persistent there, going for it. The referee brings it all back. 9.5 minutes of stoppage time has been played. We are well into the 10th minute of stoppage time here. As you say, it's like the Premier League, isn't it? And are we going to play until there's another goal? Well, the referee has just gone over to have a quiet word with the Navy bench, to Captain Stu Morgan, their team coach, just to remind him that I'm the referee, I'll decide how long we play. And by holding play up a bit more, well, who knows which way this can go. I mean, huge credit to the Army for keeping going as we expected they would. Free kick didn't really go the way they wanted. And that's a great long ball, which
another chance
will be chased by Taki. And he's beaten off one challenge.
I think it's been deflected off him as well.
And that is the last action of an action-packed game. Both of these teams have given so much here. A standing ovation coming from some of the people in the stands here, and quite rightly so. We've been royally entertained in a terrific game, which has ended 1-1. And I have to say, I think that it would have been really hard on the Army had they not got something from this game, Phil.
I think just by pure frequency of chances for both teams. Both keepers were outstanding, made some goal line saves at both ends. And I'm surprised it was finished only 1-1, but a really competitive, combative fixture as you'd expect. Cards, red card, chances.
We've had the woodwork hit a couple of times, so it's terrific stuff here, and just a sort of inter-services game that we really hope for today. Yeah, we've had a couple of goals. We could, as you say, we could have had loads more, and some outstanding performances as well from both teams today. I think that, well, the Army obviously wanted the win. They needed the win here to give themselves a chance in the inter-services. That's now gone for them for this season, but I'm sure Griff will be delighted really with the way that his players just kept at it, kept trying, kept working so hard, and they did get some reward in the end with that equaliser, and probably it was fitting that it should have been Owen James who should score it.
They could have won the game. The number of chances there, both teams could have won the game, but yeah, you're right, probably only fair on the chances that they had that they did come away with a goal.
Well, of course, it all now hinges on the game at HMS Temeraire next week to decide this inter-services championship. And, you know, the Navy would probably have been happy with a draw at the start of the game, knowing that they've got the home tie to come against the Air Force, and knowing their record at the Victory Stadium is very, very good, isn't it? So, you know, they'll be happy with that, but I'm sure that Stu Morgan will be pretty annoyed actually to have conceded that goal right at the end when they'd worked so hard, and obviously they'd gone down to 10 men. Yeah,
they'll definitely fancy themselves at home at Temeraire, but obviously for the Air Force it means a draw next week would be good enough for them.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to go pitch side in a few moments' time to hear from somebody who I think we're going to be possibly talking to the Royal Navy head coach, Stu Morgan. We're just waiting to hear who we're talking to. Obviously the players making their way to the stand for the presentation, and I think Stu Morgan is ready to talk to our reporter Julian Evans.
Well, I'm delighted to say I've got the bobble hat wearing Stu Morgan. A bit of an entertaining encounter for you this time around. Not the result that you wanted, though.
What do you mean by not the result? We didn't lose the game, so we're in the competition still, which is great. I said at the start or yesterday that the Army were going to really come for us today, and they did. They were a lot better than they were last week, for sure. I think we managed with it, though. I think we really dealt with it well. Got a bit of raggedy second half, and the second yellow obviously didn't help us. but the boys dig in, and actually it's not the worst result in the world, because we can still go and win it all next week.
It's good to hear you say that, because you sort of feel like a sucker punch like that when the goal comes in virtually injury time. It's all doom and gloom, but you're clinging on to this thing. We beat the Air Force next week, the trophy's ours.
Absolutely, even if you lose the game 1-0, you're still in it. But we know the boys are in good spirits. It is a sucker punch, like you say, but we deserve. I think we played well enough to deserve a victory. I think a few calls went against us today, but that's football, and we suck it up. We deal with it. We go again next week.
Well, the players are going to go and have the Joe Collins presentation now. Wonderful that trophies are being awarded for each individual fixture this time.
Yeah, I think it gives that added little bit of bonus to play for something extra each game, so it becomes like a cup final twice, against the Army and the RAF. So with the overall one to play for at the end, but it's great.
Stu, thanks for talking to us. Enjoy your evening.
Yes, thank you very much.
So Julian Evans then talking there to Stu Morgan. As we have the presentations now for, first of all, the match officials who've done a great job today. George Salloway, the referee today, and his assistants, Steve Kirkpatrick and Darren Poole. They received their medals for a job well done today. And also the fourth official as well, not forgetting Robert Rogers, who now comes over to receive his medal as well. Time now then for the presentation.
Thanks very much.
Great work from the young cadets who have been on ball collection duty today.
Okay, today you're playing for the Joe Collins Cup. Captain here, a legend in Army football circles and one of the best players of each generation. Somebody who played 200 core games, 160 plus games for the Army, plus also playing for the UK Armed Forces 50 odd times. Captain at every level, a fantastic footballer in his day, and still as a coach as well, he's done fantastic things. He's won every trophy in Army and tri-service football. So I'll pass over to Joey to present the cup.
Well, Joe Collins receiving warm applause here in this trophy that has been presented by him in his name today for the very first time. And I suppose it's appropriate that both captains should be up here to receive the trophy together. Great work from there. Alfie Moulding from the Army, and also Cal O'Leary from the Royal Navy. So it's both players sharing the trophy for the very first time. I'm sure the Army would have loved to have won it for Joe, obviously for their man, but the Navy are happy with it, and they're not going to celebrate. I think you should get both teams together. It is St Valentine's Day after all, so they should both be celebrating together now. What has been a terrific game. Well, Brighty, just before we go, I think just your final summing up really on this game today.
Just a really well fought inter-service fixture, I thought, to be honest. Combative, competitive, every ball was fought for. There were yellow cards, red cards, the woodwork was hit. We ended up with a goal at both ends, which was nice. Chances at both ends could have been more, could have probably been 4-4. But I think the result obviously keeps the tournament going next week, and it sets it up nicely.
It makes it alive. The RAF obviously have the advantage at the moment with that 2-0 win last week, so they have the points in the bag at the moment. The Navy know they will have to win next Wednesday when we resume this Inter-Services Under-23 Championship down at HMS Temeraire in the Victory Stadium. But that's it from us here. Thank you so much indeed for joining us here for our live coverage of the Inter-Services Under-23 Championship. Phil Bright, thanks so much for joining us today, for your great comments, and for joining us here in what's turning into a very damp early evening here in Aldershot. But from me, John Knighton, and all our team both here in Aldershot and indeed back at our headquarters, have a very good evening, and don't forget to join us next week for round 3 of the Inter-Services Under-23 Football Championship.